The official trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has dropped, and I gotta say that it feels a bit to me like Kevin Feige and Marvel sat down with Sam Raimi and said, this movie's called Multiverse of Madness, so whatever batshit insane stuff you can think of, I want it in this movie, no holds barred. There are a lot of Easter eggs to unpack, but as for what the actual plot of the film is about, we don't really have much information yet outside of the standard, hey Doctor Strange, please stop messing with space and time. However, one of the scenes in the trailer seemed to set social media on fire last night.
What is it that you want from me?
I want every picture of Spider-Man you can find across the whole multiverse.
Alright, so there you have it, J. Jonah Jameson, the secret bad guy for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. In this scene right here, we see an imprisoned Strange along with robots that are extremely similar to Ultron led to a shadowy cabal of figures. I figured, why not be an opportunistic YouTuber and make a video on who we think this group probably is. The justification for the imprisonment within the film appears to be the old, Strange you done did it again and messed with space and time, but guided by what appears to be enhanced Ultron-esque robots, Strange is brought before this group of overseers. They appear as a tribunal above Strange, and we can clearly hear the voice of Sir Patrick Stewart, best known for his role as Professor Charles Xavier from the Fox X-Men universe. This has sent shockwaves through the comic community, as legitimate comic readers were quick to anticipate that this group could in fact be the Illuminati. However, before we begin, we want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Keeps. 2/3 of men will experience some form of male pattern baldness before they're 35, and I know my hairline is receding and significantly grayer than the Sorcerer Supreme at half of his age. Keeps is a subscription service that partners men with doctors to help treat male pattern baldness. If you don't want to end up looking like the Ancient One, it might be time to look at Keeps. With Keeps, a real licensed doctor will review your specific hair loss scenario online and recommend the right treatment plan for you. Then your treatment is shipped directly to your door every 3 months. With hair loss, prevention is the key, and Keeps can take 4 to 6 months to start seeing results, so it's time to act now. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/keyissues or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/keyissues. Thanks again, and let's learn a little bit more about the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a group of some of the most brilliant and powerful characters in Marvel Comics. The Illuminati is a group much like the Avengers or the X-Men, composed of already established characters. However, rather than banding together to throw down in battle, they're more of a group of overseers or advisors. The Illuminati made their first appearance in Brian Michael Bendis' New Avengers number 7, but this first appearance is not the first true get-together of the group from a canonical perspective. The group collectively meets in secret at one of Tony Stark's abandoned facilities to discuss the reformation of the Avengers following a massive breakout of superheroes at a facility known as the Raft. Much like the MCU, the Raft in Marvel Comics is a massive high-tech jail for supervillains. The debut of this group was composed of Iron Man Tony Stark, Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards, Dr. Stephen Strange, Professor Charles Xavier, Namor, the King of Atlantis, and one of my favorite comic book characters, Blackagar Boltagon, otherwise known as the King of the Inhumans, Black Bolt. Now, from a publication perspective, this is the first time we see this group together, and we'll jump back to that story in a second, but we learn in a one-shot story called New Avengers Illuminati number 1 that this group had been meeting for an unspecified amount of time already. It's explained that following the Kree-Skrull War, these 5 members were brought together by Tony Stark, also including Black Panther, for a secret meeting. Tony had determined that all of the members of the Council had been aware of the threats posed by the Kree and the Skrulls. The rest of the galaxy views the Avengers as Earth's police force, and it's well known that Earth's heroic forces were not united. Tony proposes, uniting. The group spins their wheels for a bit before they collectively determine that they can't be a public-facing group, as the difficulty in uniting their own forces is hard enough. The political unification structure of trying to combine multiple groups of heroes would ultimately fail, so the group collectively agrees to continue meeting in secret in an effort to disseminate important information amongst themselves and their teams. Everybody except for T'Challa agreed to the group's oversight. The Black Panther leaves, citing that this group alone shouldn't represent the entire planet and that one day they would disagree on how to handle things, and when that happens, it would tear them apart. Now, from this point on, the rest of the video will highlight some of the more interesting things that I think the group was involved in, but it's not going to be a complete history, just more like some fun facts. One of the first tasks the Illuminati was involved in was confronting and understanding the insanely powerful new hero called the Sentry. Now, the Sentry is one of the most underrated, underappreciated characters to have been invented in the last 30 years, but the gist of the situation is that the Sentry was an incredibly powerful hero that was tricked by Mastermind, a mutant, into erasing himself from everyone's memories within the Marvel Universe. He is voluntarily placed within the raft at his own request, believing he had killed his wife. However, after the massive breakout of the raft, the Sentry is let loose and he goes into exile, not wanting to harm anybody else. The Illuminati, through the help of Stark's new Avengers, specifically the mutant Emma Frost, is able to collectively undo the psychological damage done to the Sentry. Iron Man ends up giving him a home on the team and he becomes one of the most powerful heroes in existence. The Illuminati were also directly responsible for launching Bruce Banner into outer space after an insanely destructive battle in Las Vegas. The decision was done without the full approval of the Illuminati and led to Iron Man and Namor coming to blows. The subsequent fallout of sending Hulk into space eventually led to the events of Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, with the latter event being one of the most damaging arcs to involve the Hulk in comic history. Later, in order to protect Earth, Reed Richards attempts to gather all of the Infinity Gems, and once they had been collected, he attempts to use the power of the Gauntlet to essentially erase itself. However, that plan doesn't work, and the group collectively agrees to each keep an Infinity Stone for themselves and put it into hiding. They each keep these stones for quite some time until the events of time runs out, come knocking a number of years later. Over the coming years, there were a number of changes to the Illuminati's roster. Members come and go, as they do with all groups. Some interesting additions to the group included Captain America, Captain Britain, Beast, Medusa, and Hank Pym. However, quite possibly the most influential effects of the Illuminati were felt during the now legendary Hickman run on Avengers and New Avengers. This run of comics, which collectively leads to Secret Wars, caused a complete reboot of the Marvel Universe and was preceded by the event Time Runs Out. This saw a number of the Illuminati members and the Avengers frantically trying to stop incursions between the main 616 Marvel Universe and other parallel universes. During this run, after Namor uses an anti-bomb to destroy an alternate Earth, he's expelled from the group. Namor then forms a counter-group of villains who act as a more extreme version of the Illuminati, referred to as the Cabal. The Cabal's goal was to continue to destroy other universes whose incursions may threaten the existence of the main 616 Marvel Universe. So if we gracefully glide over all of Hickman's Avengers, New Avengers, the Infinity crossover event, and Secret Wars, you come to find that the Marvel Universe is completely remade following the events of Secret Wars, and from that point on, there is no more Illuminati. At least not in the sense that we're thinking of today. And that is about everything that I wanted to cover on the Illuminati today. They are a very powerful, very influential group in the comics, although they don't always get everything right. Honestly, I'm not even sure if what we see in this trailer is the Illuminati, but it certainly seems to be possible and very probable. The Illuminati is essentially a footnote in Marvel Comics history right now. Whenever a lesser-known character or group is featured in a film, we also see a reemergence of those characters in comics, so I anticipate a new version of them will appear in the comics soon. And I definitely want to see them come back as a group, because I think it's a cool concept. They act as a fellowship of the figureheads associated with the most powerful heroic teams in the Marvel Universe. And that is it for today's video on the Illuminati. I hope you learned a lot, and if you did, remember to do all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. Hit the bell, like, and subscribe. This has been Nick with Key Issues. Thank you for watching again, and remember the motto, the Illuminati over everything.